We are diving right into it with a master rank replay I had versus Tearlament Kashtira. Our opening hand was kind of weird, but if they do not have Ash Blossom for our Small World or our Max C, I think we will be fine. We start with Small World to reveal Max C and Pantera, to then add Ryzen to our hand, which is the most important starter of our deck. Normal Ryzen, add Dr. Madlove, link into the Rock special summons Madlove to search continue. Now we just set 2 cards and pass. They open with Gamma Seal, tributing our Rock. I use Max C here, but then it gets negated by their Called By. They reveal and special summon Shiren, discarding Beast and then milling 3. They didn't mill anything, but they did get to draw a card. Foolish sends Havness to their grave, Havness effect to fuse, and then we flip there can only be one. With Shiren on the field, they can't summon Kitkalos, but then they can summon Winda. We don't really care, since we can counter Kaiju them on our turn. Now they just attack over Madlove, and then pass their turn. In the end phase, we use Continue to summon back Ryzen, and this time adding Heavy Borger to our hand. In our main phase, we tribute over Winda, and now we bounce back Ryzen for Borger. Borger effect to reveal an Earth and a Fire monster in our hand to burn them for 1500. Normal Ryzen, this time adding Caesar. Now we have the important Vanquish Souls monsters in rotation. So that's Ryzen, Borger, Caesar, and of course, Dr. Madlove. We link into the Rock again. Adding back Ryzen, and now we bounce back Borger to summon Caesar. We did everything in this exact order because we wanted an Earth, Fire, and Dark monster in our hand. Now we can pop our Kaiju. Move to battle and just attack. They start Y, special summoning Fenrir, and then we pop it right away. This is why I held on to Max C. They activate Pearl Rhino, and then I chain Max C. I also use the Rock to add back Madlove to my hand. We tag out Caesar or Borger, and then we get to draw a card by revealing Madlove. They normal Rhino Heart to send Havness, and then they fuse into Kaleido Heart. This special summon lets us draw Ash, which just counters their next play. Kaleido Heart tries to spin back Borger, but we tag it out with Caesar. And then they use Pearl Rhino to pop Kaleido Heart. Kaleido Heart tries to summon itself, but then we get to Ash it. None of this next part really matters, but I'm glad they stuck around so I can show you this part too. Rock summons Madlove, searching out Dust Devil. Tribute the Rock for Advent, and then we tribute Madlove to search our other There Can Only Be One. If our opening hand was better and we had a starter instead of Tikaboo, we could have used Small World to add Advent instead and still end on a Floodgate, but then they would have known that we have it set. Here is my 45 card Ghost Reaper version of Vanquish Souls. After this section, we will go over the Kashtira version. The whole point of Ghost Reaper is when our opponent controls more monsters than we do, we can discard it, reveal an extra deck monster, and then we check their extra deck for any copies of the same monster we revealed and then banish it. So a perfect example of this is when we are going second versus Pearly, we can just reveal Noir and then we can banish all of their copies. As I mentioned before, we really want to start with Ryzen. Here are all the ways that we can open it. We can hard draw it, use Rhoda, Prosperity, Small World, Stake Your Soul, plus a fire monster in our hand, which includes Kurikaras, Ash Blossoms, Vanquish Soul, Xiaolong, and Pluton. And of course, we can also use Durandal and equip it to any of our normal summons. And if we have already used our normal summon and it was a Vanquish Soul, we can then just link it off into Rock and then use the Rock to special summon Ryzen. Small World is just so good in this deck. I am pretty sure that every single monster card that we have is searchable. Parallel Exceed can become Bagooska or even Flash Mage and then into Heat Soul if we need 2 additional draws. And if you want to get to your Teekaboo more consistently, you can use Small World to add Pharaonic Advent to your hand. And then you just follow the steps that we did at the end of the last duel. Now here is my 50 card Kashtira version of the deck. The notable cards I've added are the Kashtira cards, which are Unicorn, Rise Heart, Birth, and of course Wraithsoth. I have 2 ghost spells here, just in case we need an additional earth monster. I also added the thrust package of Herald and Dimensional Barrier. Since we are not playing Ghost Reaper in this version, we have a lot of room in the extra deck. We have Barone since we have many level 3 tuners and level 7 monsters, Exciton and Bagooska as our rank 4s, Flare Metal and Shangri-Ira are our rank 7s. We can easily cheat out a Rise Heart and Zeus. Lingaribo could be nice versus trap decks, and we only need to use one of the Exceeds to summon it. Of course, we have the 3 rocks. I think any of the Charmers could take this spot, but I decided to use Dark. And as usual, we have Unicorn, Access Code, and Goddess of the Underworld. In the replay that we are about to go over, I do make several misplays, but this is fine since with both Thrust and Small World, we can easily search out anything that we need from our deck at that moment. In this mirror match, we are playing somewhat different decks. I am on a 50 card list and Zeke is on a 45 list. I'll have their deck list here in case you want to compare it with our build. They open with Mad Love adding Dust Devil. Then they link into the Rock. Rock summons Borgor, and then they use the effect to draw 1 card. They set 2 and pass. I start with special summoning Fenrir, and then they use Dust Devil right away, setting my Fenrir. The first mistake I made here is equipping Durandal to Borger that could have been tagged out by Caesar or another Borger. Make sure to equip it to a stationary target. Now we get to add Ryzen, and then follow it up with Thrust, searching State Your Soul. Stake Your Soul reveal Ryzen to summon Jiao Long. Jiao Long effect to reveal a fire to then flip Fenrir back face up. Fenrir adds Unicorn, and then we just normal summon Ryzen to add Caesar. Misplay number 2. I link away Ryzen instead of my Jiao Long, blocking my Exceed from activating. In the grand scheme of things, they also have a Teekaboo on board, so we're really just missing 1 body. We tag in Caesar and the Rock summons back Jiao. A Rise Heart summons itself, and then we just move to battle. Fenrir attacks Borgor and it banishes it. Teekaboo is now flipped. So now we just slowly clear the board. In main 2, I wanted to summon Flare Metal Dragon, but then Caesar is a dragon and with Teekaboo up, I can't do that. Continue summons back Mad Love, and it doesn't add anything since they've already used both of their spells. Prosperity for 6. And they add Fenrir. They link into the Rock, activate Stake Your Soul or Caesar. Rock adds Mad Love from the grave. My third mistake is I attempt to banish Caesar, but I forgot they had their own Fenrir, which is an earth, making their Caesar a towers. Continue adds Ryzen from the grave back to my hand. They use tactics to steal my Fenrir, and then use it to search their own Rise Heart. summon both Rise Heart and Mad Love, and then tag into Borgor. They move into battle, and then they clear my board. In the end phase, Caesar goes back to their hand and I get my Fenrir back. We literally drew the best card in the deck. Before I use it, do you know what wins us the game here? To give you a hint, none of these effects that are activating right now currently matter, and we will just win. So we force a Caesar activation. We add Unicorn to our hand, and then we use Small World to reveal Exceed and Dogoran to add Kurikara to our hand. Summon Kurikara by tributing 2 of their monsters, and then we just attack for game. This is why Thrust and Small World are just so good. It adds whatever you need just at the right moment so we can win. So what did you think of the decks? I have 2 additional replays I wanted to share. The first one is showcasing how good Heavy Borger is and how we can win using the burn effect. The second one is about how good Bagooska is right now in this meta. My next video will be on novels, and I hope you come check that out when it's released. Thank you for watching. Until next time.